Why is God in the Bible so negative about sex? Abstinence. You know, Josh, you're no different than anyone else. Don't do this, don't do it. Wait a minute. That's not negative. Abstinence is positive. You say what? Yes. Abstinence doesn't mean don't do it because it's sinful or wrong. Rather, it means wait because it's so beautiful. It's so wonderful. It's worth protecting. You say, but look at all the how the Bible talks against it. Wait a minute. You know what I learned? There's not one single verse in the Bible, from Genesis through the maps. I used to think they were inspired. But from Genesis through Revelation, there's not one single verse in the Bible that calls sex sinful or wrong or dirty. Not one. You say, no, there isn't. In all the years that I've been speaking, I've never had one person, I'll say, here, take my Bible, show me one verse that says sex is sinful. Well, I was sharing this at a parent seminar. About 500 parents. It was 3 hours on how to talk to your kids about sex. You know how you do it when you get older? Be biblical, be frank, and tell it the way it is, and you will win. Start young. You got to start young. And so I was explaining this, and in the first session I made the comment, there's not one single verse in the Bible that says sex is sinful. Well, just at the break, this woman jumps up in the back, and she stormed to the front. She didn't say a word, but her body language was screaming. And she came up and got about 3 rows in the front. She yelled out at me. She said, "You are disgusting." And she walked up and slammed down a sheet of paper on the music stand and stormed out of the building. Well, everyone went, oh, except for me. Everybody started to get up for the break. I said, wait a minute. Before the break, let me read to you what's on the paper. They said, what? I said, look, I know exactly what is on that paper. And it was almost verbatim. I took the sheet, and across the top it says, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Then in big bold letters it said, this is what God says about sex. And she wrote out 10 verses from the Bible. You know what was the amazing thing? Not one of them had anything to do with sex. You say, what? No. For example, one of the first ones was 1 Corinthians 6:18 in the New Testament, where Paul wrote, flee sexual immorality, for it's the one sin you commit against your body. Well, that's not about sex. That's about the misuse of sex. Are you with me? Every single verse she wrote out had nothing to do with sex the way God created it. Every single verse had to do with the misuse of sex from the way God created it. And you know what's happened over the years? In almost every country, every culture, from our parents to our grandparents on, and preachers often in the church, we take what the Bible says about the misuse of sex and we attribute it to sex. And as a result, young people grow up saying, well, sex is dirty, sex is sinful. Then there's no way you're going to get married and realize sex is beautiful, sex is beautiful. And I would say the teaching that sex is sinful or dirty has probably destroyed more marriages than Playboy or anything has ever done it.